Alrighty, what is up, guys? Evan Aldo here. Wanted to give you an update on Bitcoin, ETH. We're going to talk about ADA. ETH, that chart looks interesting right now. Cardano as well, a little bit. A lot to talk about. ETH, Bitcoin, DXY. A lot is happening, obviously. We got a nice pump from Ethereum. Right now, we'll see if that can hold. First thing I want to talk about here is Bitcoin. So basically, the next technical target kind of out of this wedge that we're looking at, this wedge right here that we broke out of is right around 31, right around 31, a little bit above 31, which it seems like in all likelihood we could be able to get there. And a lot of times when you're in a rally like this, what typically gives you somewhat of a top is where, kind of like back here, you see you have the bearish div, kind of where money flow starts to come out. So that's what we're kind of looking for here. That one wasn't so good. I mean, typically it does, unless you're in really big like rallies like we are right now. Typically it would be something like, well, money flow wasn't coming out, but something like there would finally bring you down quite a bit. I have a feeling once we kind of get up to 31 here, potentially we would come down a little bit, as long as the money flow starts to come down in the 4 hour. Now that could happen, could be a little bit choppy until the weekend or early next week. Could see that potentially happening. Also, we could see some altcoins run, especially Cardano, Polkadot, AVAX are three that I think potentially could run over the next 2 weeks or so if we do have a mini altcoin season, which I think there's a decent shot. I think there's definitely a decent shot of that. We'll see what happens with Bitcoin dominance and all of that as well. That's starting to see a pullback right here, just a little bit down to this point now. Now you're getting back towards that kind of wedge. So you're at the kind of the peak of there. Now you're back down. So we'll see. I mean, if this does break downward, a little bit tough to say in my opinion. I mean, it does look a little bit bearish on the daily bearish div, but obviously back here did not give you much at all, or that one didn't give you too much. Gave you a little bit. I mean, if it's like this, let's see. If we do something like this would really tell us how long alts could potentially pump for, and that would be right until April 28th. So if we do have a mini altcoin season, looking likely, since we're seeing ETH jump up here, you come down to this area towards the end of the month, then you see kind of a sell and may walk away. What happens then? Oh man, probably more of this trajectory, probably upward. Yeah, probably upward for Bitcoin dominance once that happens. So, because once we get a sizable pullback, alts I think will continue to bleed against Bitcoin. So that's what we're looking at right there. And ones that we'll talk about it, but I want to be a little bit more organized here. So let me just show you the high time frames. And the weekly on Bitcoin, we're definitely showing signs that we're getting close. We're getting close. Now, that doesn't mean we can't come higher or come up to 35K or potentially, I mean, who knows, maybe even 40K. But we're probably, a lot of this main rally, I mean, guys, nothing goes up forever. It's not, probably not, we're probably not going to see something like that. I'd be surprised. I mean, if we see something like that, I have enough Bitcoin where I'm going to be a wealthy man, but it's going to feel weird, man. Like, it's kind of, things are probably going to get very ugly in the world if that happens. But in terms of what we're looking at, we're kind of like probably at this point, maybe a little bit more. We're getting kind of to that point. Maybe we could see Bitcoin go more sideways as more money goes into ETH and altcoins, especially ADA, Cardano ETH. If you just look at this chart, I mean, look at the big place where we're hitting, right here, and you're getting a bullish dip on the weekly. I mean, that's not financial advice at all, as always, guys, but I think I'm going to take some of my ETH. I'm still waiting for it to become available on like Kraken that I have staked there. But I'm going to take some of that and convert it to Cardano. I think this is just too good to pass up. And then maybe I'll convert it back to ETH or just take some profits in like 2 weeks on that towards the end of the month. If we do see that mini altcoin season, see if this pumps up to, I mean, that's probably a good 10% or so. 30%, wow, 20 or 30, yeah. So, I mean, that's not bad. That's not bad right there where we could potentially end up. Nothing's guaranteed. I don't know. I mean, it could just roll over here, but I do think there's a good shot you'd see some type of reaction. On the macro, though, I think after this rally is over, and I think what we'll see in May is kind of more of a sell and May walk away, where you could come down significantly. And I do think that you're probably going to, into the summer, probably going to at least get into kind of this area for ETH Bitcoin, 0.05 around there. That's where I'm going to kind of start DCAing into Ethereum, maybe selling a little bit of my Bitcoin, moving it more into Ethereum. Now, if we get down to this point, this is very important. If we get down to these areas, I may go on like full on degenerate and convert almost all, maybe even all of my Bitcoin into Ethereum. Don't, it's risky. It's risky, but it could pay off. but it could, you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things. If you get down to here, that would be a dream. I mean, that would be potentially, like, say we do in the next bull run, go back up to these levels or something. That's 200% of the gains you would have with Bitcoin. I mean, that's big gains. That's potentially big gains if we make ETH goes up to 8,000 or 6,000 or maybe even 10,000. You know, if we make new all times for ETH, that's huge gains. Also, if this could, show strength like it did last time, Cardano ETH. I mean, I think at best right now it's probably going to be something of this nature for, a few months here, something of that nature kind of. I don't think we're really completely going to do something like that or something like this. I think it's going to be more like that, kind of as history, repeated what history did in 2019. 2023 is a similar year to 2019 and in 2015. You know what I mean? I feel like that's the most likely scenario in terms of history here. So, I wouldn't. It could happen, but it might not. You know what I mean? It could happen, but it might not. Be careful. And then if we look at this, here's the other reason though. This might, this trajectory seems like it could continue downward, ADA versus Bitcoin. So you convert your ETH to your, say your ADA outperforms ETH, but it still could bleed against Bitcoin. Then what's the point? You're better off with Bitcoin. So be careful as well. I'm not seeing enough of a reason to see that will have any significant jump up for maybe any time more than the next 2 weeks here for this one. So that's my kind of concern here. If you're going to be messing with alts, probably not. But if you're going to be, Polkadot looks pretty good here. Nice bubble pop pattern, money flow crossing, double trigger waves. This would be the one to give it a shot. What could we end up doing here? Potentially coming up, I don't know, repeating a trajectory like this maybe into, I don't know if it would last that long. I'm thinking more like towards the end of April, we could get a jump up with some of these as people, kind of get bored with ETH. They start putting money into altcoins, kind of get a jump up to this. But I kind of don't think you'd get too far above $8 here. I don't think it's going to be that big of an altcoin rally. Could be wrong, I don't know. But, even this to jump up maybe a bit more into early May, into the end of May, early May, 21, kind of that area as well. I think these got some room to go up there. Now, if we look at the DXY here, now this is interesting because you got your double bottom pattern, which you got your double bottom pattern plus a yellow X, which doesn't look too good there. Double bottom as well there. You may get that bullish div, and then on the daily, here it looks pretty good for like the bullish case. A bunch of yellow X's, sell exhaustion. Now we're coming to agreement, but then he rolled over again. I think that the Dixie still, I wouldn't count it out just yet. But I do think you might be able to make a little bit of a lower low here as things continue to pump up a little bit more into the end of the month. And then you may, as soon as you kind of lose 100, you may get a fierce jump up to show that, no, it's not going to lose 100. And you may have a decent trajectory up. You could get this weekly bullish div here. I wouldn't count out the Dixie just yet. You do have the blood down. It doesn't look good with EMAs either, but wouldn't count it out just yet as long as the Fed, and it looks like they're going to raise interest rates at least another 25 basis points. I wouldn't count it out completely just yet. And as the economy slows, could bring more strength to the US dollar. So that's what I'm looking at right there. And now let's look at ETH, the one that everybody's talking about. We pumped up. This was wild. I mean, I didn't even signal it out because I wasn't too confident on it. I had a short in that got stopped out, and then I made a ton of freaking. I wish I signaled it in the group. I just didn't think it had that. I was messing around with it. I put a little long in here on like 30x leverage, at the tight stop loss, and the next thing I know, hit my first take profit, and then I'm way, I just got a 10% increase, a huge increase in my, even with good risk management, my trading account way ahead now because of this. This jump up to here and just took a bunch of profits. So, it happens sometimes, in the trading group, sometimes I miss stuff. So sorry about that, guys. But as always, it's not financial advice. You can't just blindly follow somebody's trades and expect to be really successful. It's really all about education. You do have currently another bearish div right here on the 10 minutes. So, it was a big short squeeze. I could see potentially coming down a little bit here. Like I was talking about for the technical target, it seems like you'll get up a bit higher with this rally based on this one right here, a bit higher to this area. ETH already had its jump, so this may come down a little bit as Bitcoin goes up here potentially, or it just kind of follows it. I don't know. I don't know, but What I will say is that in terms of the next places to look, I think what'll probably mark an end to this rally, this could take a while before we really see it, is this bearish div. Once this kind of prints, and it may be at, I mean, who knows, maybe even 2300 up to these areas by the time that happens. Keep in mind, though, you are getting a double top over here, kind of, somewhat of a double top from this area. I think when this does start printing, that's a good sign that a lot of this rally is over, that we're close, if not have kind of topped out, and then we're going to see more of a sell and may walk away type thing. Also keep an eye on this weekly. I think the next red dot in the weekly with the split RSIs will probably bring you down a decent amount, similar to kind of what happened over here in 2019. And we all know what happened there. I mean, that was not a, you know, we may see a lot of red months ahead potentially. You know, you may see back to I think a good goal would be 1200, 1100. You know, to 11 to 1300 would be a good goal to look for ETH into the summer potentially, if you get that summer lull. And then it could, I mean, I know this is going to sound really Armageddon, but I'd say worst case scenario, there still is, you know, going into a bad recession, there still is a trajectory for that 600 range, for those really low ranges. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm mainly, what my technique here is going to be to start DCAing into in the 12A day here, starting to convert some of my Bitcoin into ETH and starting to buy some, with just fresh cash, buy some ETH as soon as this crosses into the red here, which will probably work out pretty well with the summer lull, pretty well with that sell in May, walk away type thing. It used to be sell in May, go away. CryptoFace changes to sell in May. Sell May, walk away. Shout out to CryptoFace with the big trade today, up 200 grand. Good for him. That was awesome, man. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at right there for Ethereum. That's pretty much all I have to say right now. I think at best you're going to see somewhat of a mini altcoin season. It may come in as this, you know, kind of comes down a bit more of Bitcoin dominance, and then you'll see more of a recovery for Bitcoin dominance as we get our kind of sell and may walk away, get kind of a pullback here. So that's what I'm looking at right now. My next take profit for my Bitcoin long is at 31K even. I think in all likelihood you should get up to this area, but it could be a pretty bumpy ride kind of on the way up. We'll see what happens. It's a technical target out of this wedge. So yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a like. Please subscribe to the channel. If you're interested in the Discord or trading course, those links are, you know, URLs on the screen. Links down below as well. Also with BitGET, there's a few spots open still for a $100 trial bonus if you're in any of the regions down below. It states all the details down below. So check that out if you're interested. I'd suggest just play around with it, use it, see if you like the exchange. You could, they'll let you withdraw up to $500 out of that if you do really well, if you get a 5x. They're not going to let you, you know, if you turn that $100 into 10,000, they're not going to let you withdraw all that. But if they'll let you withdraw up to 500, so why not play around with it? So yeah, guys, have a good one. Subscribe, like the video. Goodbye.